Yeah, so check this out. So in spot 00, scene cutscene data 00A920, we have a CS for cutscene, destination title screen demo. This is what runs when that cutscene ends and we go into one of the 3 cutscenes that happens once the opening cinematic completes. So I think I was looking at it in this last episode. This is the opening cinematic. That's a lot. Oh, feels good. Feels good. All right. Welcome back to Code Spelunking. I'm very excited this episode. And you know what? We're just gonna get straight into it. Okay. I've found the intro cinematic. I did not do it alone. Shout out to Soren from the Discord, who's actually in a GDQ talking over one of the taskbot runs, which is really awesome. So he offered to help. I reached out to him, asked him a few questions. Previous episode, I started digging into scene stuff going on here. Spot 00 room, that one. In here, we have EN Mag, right? EN Mag is an actor that gets loaded into this actor entry stuff. Okay, where does that go? Well, that goes into this actor room set something. Okay, where does that go? Okay, well, that goes into this alternate headers something or other. All right, where does that go? Well, that goes into this room 0 command. But I couldn't figure out how do we get into where the cutscene commands for the opening. And I started getting to a point where I was wondering if this opening cutscene was even named yet. We have G Hyrule Field. So in here, we know that this is Child Link going into Hyrule Field for the first time. And we have a few others. There's also like there's Get Ocarina of Time, when the Ocarina of Time is in the river next to Hyrule Castle, where Link gets that. There are other cutscenes here. Spot 00 scene cutscene data 00C120. What does this even mean, right? So that goes back into this whole decompilation project. It's been decompiled, but not everything has been named. It's not like fully documented yet. So I started thinking, oh, maybe the intro cinematic is one of these. After the last episode, I didn't really know where to go next, so I just asked a few questions. And boy, did Soren have a lot to say. So again, very special thanks to Soren. One of the first things that I have learned in this file, we have something called a header. A header, the way that Soren puts it is, generally a header means the first data structure in a file. So that is this. It's this scene command array business going on here. If you remember, scene commands is like this topmost container for a lot of what's going on in here. So in this spot 00 room 0 commands, we have EN Mag. That gets stored into something, which gets stored into something, which gets stored into something, which gets populated all the way back up here. So this is the header for this file. That's my current understanding. Please put comments in the description for when I inevitably get something wrong. So this is a header, meaning it is the first data structure in this file. We also have this alternate header list. I believe that this list are the scene layers and the cutscenes for this room, which is in this spot. I don't know about that last bit there, but that seems to track. So back to what Soren had told me. So he seemed to use the term header to be synonymous with layer. I don't know if that's true, but in this case, the first header here is the layer, and I say layer here, yeah, Z64 save. So recall that scene layers affect the world. So when you're a kid in the daytime, you're going to see certain things. When you're a kid at night, you see certain things, like in Hyrule Market. Adult day, adult night, and then everything after that are cutscenes. I believe that maps to what we are seeing here. So for spot 0, room 0, the very confusing thing here is that, so these are the layers, I believe, except for the first one, which is this first struct here. So let's look at the pattern. and it might make more sense. Sorry, I'm like very excited about this because I just learned it. The thing is, I want to make sure that you all come along for the ride. So with my excitement, I'm gonna go just a little bit fast. I'll try to slow down, but give me a break here. This is a big find for me. For any scene command, which is a bunch of stuff, I'm not gonna get too far into that, but each scene command here has all these like settings in it. So for spot 00, room 0, set, whatever, it has these echo settings, this room behavior, something about the skybox, time, wind. In there is actors. Now, so en mag is somewhere in here, right? So en mag is an actor, because this is an array of actor entries. This gets plugged into a scene command array. There are many of them, right? So we have one here, we have one here, we have one here, and here, and here. I believe all of these sets line up to a scene layer, meaning, remember, a scene layer, child day, child night, adult day, adult night. Then the cutscenes follow. So I'm gonna go back to the room here. I believe this maps to one of those layers, or it could map to a cutscene, which also is a layer. So if this is a layer, this gets plugged in somewhere here in this array, which are alternate headers. And remember, I don't know if this is a one-to-one thing, but we can look at headers here as layers. So all of these ultimately plug up to this alternate header list. But then what are these settings? My understanding, based off of my conversation with Sarin, again, thank you, Sarin, is that this struct right here is the layer for child link in the daytime. Then in the alternate list here, this alternate headers, then the first one here is child nighttime. Let me just put this side by side. All right, so if this is child day, sorry, this is not child day, this is child night. If this is child night, then that means this is adult day. And in this case, that means there is no adult night. Then we have the cutscenes. So these are all the cutscenes for this spot and this room. Now, how does that help us in all of this stuff? Let's go back to en mag. Back to en mag. That goes into this actor entry array. That actor entry array gets plugged into this set, which I believe is one of those layers. So which layer does it go into? It goes into layer... remember that the first layer, meaning child link in the daytime, the first layer, just child link in the daytime, is all of this stuff for spot 00, room 0, which I believe is Hyrule Field. Okay, so if this is child in the daytime, we go here, scene layer child night is this one, and scene layer adult day is this one, and scene layer adult night is this one. So there is no adult night scene here. So scene layer cutscene first is this one, and our en mag. I'm explaining this many times because I have just learned this and I need to make sure that I understand this. So let me go backwards again. So this set, you get plugged into here. So this is en mag lives here. But what is this? Okay, so this is index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But remember that where this is used, the 0 index, the first thing, is actually this right here. So this is 0, and then this is 1, and this is 2, and this is 3. So, and this is 4, which is first cutscene, which means this is 5, and this is 6, and this is 7. Now, where else did we see 7? We saw that, I believe it was Z demo. Ah, got it. It was Z opening. So in Z opening, yes, okay. In Z opening, we set scene layer to 7. I still don't know why they manually set it here because we dynamically figured this out. But we know that our cutscene index is 3. So our cutscene index is 3. Then in this initialization of the debug save, we know that this is our entrance index. And we know that this is our cutscene index. So our cutscene index is 3. Our entrance index is whatever this is, 205, yeah. Let's go to Z play. Okay, so check this out. So when the game mode is not normal, we know that it's not normal because we're entering the intro cinematic. And game mode is like title screen. What happens here is we set the scene layer equal to cutscene first, which is 4. And like 2 episodes ago, we figured out that this comes up to 3. 4 plus 3 equals 7. So our scene layer is 7. And what was our index over here? It was index 7. So our scene layer is 7, which is this, which maps to this actor list right here, which has actor en mag. Okay. I hope that all made sense. I still have not shown y'all the actual cutscene yet. We will get there. So after we figure out what the scene layer is, we spawn the scene. Okay. When we spawn the scene, we look into this entrance table. We get our entrance index, which we saw in Z opening was Hyrule Field 0. So Hyrule Field 0 plus our scene layer, which is 7. So if we take this value and we add 7 to it, which scene do we get? So we have this, and let's add 7 to it. 1, 2, 3, okay, up to here, 7. That maps to scene Hyrule Field. So that's how we choose to spawn the Hyrule Field scene. Now, I'm sure I can jump into like how this begins to load that cutscene, but first I want to show you the actual cutscene. Yeah, so check this out. So in spot 00, scene cutscene data 00A920, check this out. We have a CS for cutscene, destination title screen demo. Where else is that used? That is used here. And we've been here. This is what runs when that cutscene ends and we go into one of the 3 cutscenes that happens once the opening cinematic completes. So this right here, and there's no other place where this is used, right? Yeah, this is the only place where we actually straight up have a macro that puts a cutscene destination that uses this title screen demo. So I think I was looking at it in this last episode, but this is the opening cinematic. Wow. It only took 6, 7 episodes to get here and actually kind of understand it. What I would like to do now is figure out how we reference this specifically. Like, where does this go? Okay, so this is for set 011D60. That's interesting. So this has to align somehow with that en mag stuff. Now, where do we go from there? It's never easy. It's never easy. Is this also 7? So spot 00 scene. So this would be 1. Because remember, wherever this alternate headers is used, like this is index 0. And this is 1, and this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And in here, we have the cutscene data that contains the cutscene command to go to this cutscene destination next. Which means that we're looking right now at the opening cinematic cutscene. Okay. Oh man, this is great. Now how is that loaded? Like, I have so many questions right now. So spot 00 scene commands. All right. Now, I don't think I'm gonna see a very explicit, like, load spot 00, though it could exist. So, like, this is the destination, right? This is, we get here somehow. We know that we get here from, like, that play spawn scene, and now we're loading up the scene, which means we're probably loading a lot of this stuff in now. So now I want to go back to, like, the main game loop and looking at how play spawns stuff to see how we actually connect. So let's do that. Okay, so let's go to that play spawn scene logic. So spawn scene, what do? You look at a scene table entry. Oh. So is that what this ROM file is? Scene file. Spot 00 scene. Okay. Oh, we have a scene table. Oh, which we've been to. So let's look at Hyrule Field. So there's only one scene, Hyrule Field. Oh, and that's spot 00 scene. That's it. Right? Not crazy? Okay, Hyrule Field is scene 0. Well, spot 0. Which goes to spot 00, room 0. I don't know what SDC is. Scene draw config. Wow, okay. It's finally coming together. We have a scene table. This scene table contains scene Hyrule Field. Hyrule Field uses this spot 00 scene. Let's go back to this scene table. How do they define scene? Okay. So a ROM file has a name. A ROM file also has a title. But let's focus on this name. So when we create this array of scene tables, we define a macro that says this name is going to get turned into unsigned integer pointers that point to the ROM start and the ROM end of a given name of a scene, which for Hyrule Field, the name of this scene is spot 00 underscore scene, which exists here. So this is a ROM file. Okay. Okay. So we import this table. We create structures based off of this format. We create the pointers to the start and the end of the given scene. So for Hyrule Field, we create pointers that have these names to them. I don't know what GPN27 is, but we create ROM files for those too. Probably assets. assets for the title, maybe. Let's look that up actually. Okay, GPN 27. Oh, it's a texture for the title card. Okay. Okay, that checks out. Okay. Cool. All right. So we go into the scene table. We're back in play spawn scene. So play spawn scene just takes a scene ID. So it got Hyrule Field. It got whatever the spawn was for Hyrule Field. I think it's just 0. It extracts... It's probably not the right term for it. Let me reset the song. Because I am enjoying it. Alright, let me zoom in just a little bit more. Okay. So, quick recap. We're looking at how the main game loop spawns the scene that we're about to play in. This function is called in, as you can see, this function is called in play init. So when we initialize the play state of our game, meaning the game is playing, like we're actually going to be running around in Hyrule Field or whatever, then we spawn the scene that we're about to play in. We figure out which scene that we're about to load based off of our scene layer, which is 7 in this case, and our entrance index, which is Hyrule Field 0. So we find that scene. We also find its spawn for that one. That goes in here. So we just look inside the scene table and then find the ID for that one. How do we get the ID? Oh, these are just enums that... Right. Okay. So somewhere else, this enum gets created. Let me actually see if I can find that. So somewhere else, this scene table gets included, right? So when we create scene IDs, we include this entire table. That table getting included, we're just going to take the enum like we've seen before. So in here, when we take all these enums, it's just going to go in order. So when we use this scene ID, which we got again from adding the layer and the entrance together, when we use that scene ID, we use it to get that specific scene out of this table. So we have just gotten Hyrule Field out of this table, and we're getting a pointer to it. Okay. Now we're saying that this is the loaded scene. We know what our scene ID is. This, I think, is just the gameplay state? Yeah. Play state. Okay. Set the draw config. And if we're on the N64, we do some stuff. Scene segment, right? We created for like segment start and segment end, we do a load file. And we pass the scene file, which is that ROM file that we've seen before. So here, the scene file is what? So here, scene file. The scene, first of all, is a table entry which contains both of these things, right? The scene file is created dynamically, if I recall. I wish I could just snap to that definition, but I can't right now. So scene file is going to be, we're going to keep you on the side because you are very, very relevant right now. So scene Hyrule Field maps to this. And when we create a scene table entry, here's how we define this macro such that the first thing, which is spot00 scene, gets plugged into ROM file, which then creates these segment ROM starts and segment ROM end, which gets plugged into this struct here. So scene file is going to be spot 00 underscore scene, and then spot, so it's going to be underscore spot 00 underscore scene segment ROM start. So spot 00, now it's going to be underscore spot 00 scene underscore segment ROM start, I believe. Underscore spot 00 underscore scene. Okay, so there's no other underscore. So that doesn't exist. Okay. Okay, so we call play load file, which takes in a scene file, which is this, and that was created, that was defined here. And those are ROM files. And what is a ROM file? A ROM file is just 2 pointers. Where does it start and where does it end? How these get populated? How do these get populated? They're pointers, but there's no like value put in there. All right, so what I'm trying to find right now. What am I trying to find right now? In zplay, we begin to spawn a scene when we're initializing the play state. When we try to spawn a scene, we find the ID of that. Using the ID, we pull out its entry, its scene table entry, which has ROM files. ROM files are pointers. What I'm trying to figure out is, where are these ever set? So where do we do like VROM start equals something? Let's do a raw search. Oh, it's like that. Python files. Okay, maybe that happens somewhere else then. Okay. I will accept that I'm not going to find that answer right now. So when we load the scene segment, we give it the scene file, which is going to be this ROM file, which is going to be spot 00 scene segment ROM start. So spot 00 scene segment ROM start gets plugged into here. Oh, sorry, I'm calling that incorrectly. I don't think it actually is that. That scene's scene file is a ROM file. Okay, so spot 00 scene. Let me go back there. Name goes in there. Spot 00 scene name. Spot 00 segment ROM start. Oh, it gets plugged in for the value of a ROM file. So VROM start gets set equal to this. This gets plugged into this, I believe. Okay. Go back to where the stuff's being loaded. Okay, so we load a file. We're loading a file. We do some game state alloc. We are allocating the This is extremely specific. Allocates to the tail end of the 2-head arena with guaranteed 16-byte alignment. Okay. What's that last parameter? What's that magic number? Line. Is that this line? Z play at this line. Okay. From this file. You don't actually plug in the file there. 2-head arena. Okay. Not gonna dig further into that. But okay, so we get the scene segment. And what's a G segment? It's a pointer. Virtual to physical memory. Oh, somebody had mentioned that, like, memory addresses beyond this number, I think, like, refer directly to the cartridge, or maybe it was the console. I don't remember exactly. I wish I had that comment on hand. Okay. Okay, so then we've loaded the files, and now we initialize the scene. Oh. So wait, what do we do with all this stuff? We get the segments. Display, use these G segments. Interesting. Oh, set up first room. What are you doing? Load into a room for the first time. Since current room was initialized to -1 and segment is null and play init scene, the previous room will also be initialized to the null state when the function completes. Do we fall into this case? Room context. We have a room context. Room context status is 0 because we're setting up the first room. So this happens. Set the segment to null. Status is now 1. Get the size of the room. Room request address. Don't know what's going on here. Return true. Okay, what's room number? Room context, current room num equals room number. Where did this room number come from? Front room. Front room. Oh man, where does respawn flag get set? It's not going to be here. I think it's going to be in Z play. Oh, thank you. Okay, so in play init, we set respawn flag to 0. Now, oh no, this happens after we... play spawn scene? No, play spawn scene happens... Oh, okay. So play spawn scene happens before we set the respawn flag. Okay, so respawn flag getting set to 0 happens all the way down here. On an empty gsave context, I can only imagine the respawn flag starts as 0. But anyway, all the way up here we call play spawn scene. So technically we don't know what the scene context's respawn flag is. Let me see if it's in Z opening. Was it respawn? No. Okay, so it's not set there. Okay, well I don't know what that is. We get the segments, we load the file. Now we have to initialize the scene. Oh, so there should be like an actor in it. Wait a second, are we getting object? What is this? This is the play state. Oh, the play state has a scene table entry of the loaded scene. And as we saw before, one of these should give us a scene table entry. Maybe not, maybe I'm misremembering. Init scene. The reason I thought that that would connect is because I recall seeing like object and light stuff here. Okay, let me get in here. So is there object and light stuff? Skybox, environment light settings. Which is an env light settings. Does this have anything to do with an env light settings? Not sure. But here's where it does init on the current room. Room context comes from this. Init scene has a room context. How is init scene's room context defined? I'm not sure. Let's look for this room CTX. Okay, so in spawn scene. Okay, so init scene happens. Oh, it doesn't happen here. Oh, we pass it the room context. And the room context has what? It's getting very difficult to see how this links up. This is incredible progress, though. I could not have gotten this far this fast without Sarin. Thank you, Sarin, for helping me understand this. I mean, just looking back at Spot Zero's Scene Zero, I would never have thought that this is child Link in the day, and this being child Link night, and this being adult Link day, and this being adult Link night. I never would have known that. Or it would have been, somebody would have had to post a comment explaining as much. Because that's tough. That doesn't just like click. There's also something I figured out. There's something I figured out about. Let's go to ZEN Mag. I'm kind of done trying to see how things link together right now, but I do want to share with y'all what else I learned. So in ZEN Mag, we know that this thing is the title logo. In the update, it listens for a specific flag somewhere. Let me just look for flag. Yeah, look at this, look at this. So when it's in its initial state, it checks for a specific cutscene flag. It checks for cutscene flag number 3. If I go back to Spot 00, scene, whatever, there is a cutscene flag that gets called that for the number 3. I don't know where that happens. Let me find it. Get play. What's play? From this context, get. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. 3? Yeah, which flag? So, for flag number 3. Flag number 3, where is that? Aha, cutscene flag 3. So, here is the list of cutscene commands for the opening cinematic. Here, we set 2 cutscene flags for this particular frame. I'm sure there's more data going on here. But in this cutscene, we set miscellaneous cutscene flags 3 and 4. In ZEN Mag, which we know is that logo in the title screen, it checks for cutscene flags 3 and 4. So when 3 is fired, it begins fading in. When 4 is fired, it begins fading out. This is really cool. So after it begins fading out, with a bunch more details here, we mark that the next destination for a cutscene is the title screen demo. Oh man. That's a lot. Oh, it feels good. Feels good. Man. Yeah, sometimes you just gotta ask for help, you know? I'm sure I could have found eventually a lot of these things, but I don't know everything, man. I can't just somehow make sense that like this first object is a certain layer, or that any of these things are layers. That just blows my mind. Yeah, the second Sauron started mentioning that, like, oh, the first one is that layer, and then this is child day, adult, or child night, adult day. I'm like, wait, what did you say? Hold up, what? Then things really started to click. Okay, I just wanted this episode to be an update, and I wanted that update to be, oh boy, I think I found it. And I think that's enough for this episode. But man, once again, shout out to Sauron, who responded with a lot of detail. Very, very grateful that you were able to share a lot of that stuff. Thanks to everybody who has been a part of this journey, whether you're one of the folks who just comment your excitement about something like this, but also the folks who are teaching. Part of being a software engineer, part of being a code spelunker is asking questions, because a lot of times other people have to go through the same things, and it just saves you time when it comes to understanding a lot of this stuff. That was cool. That was great. Extremely happy to be one massive step closer to fully understanding that opening cinematic. I'm still a little bit fuzzy on how some of the like ROM files connect. Like I see the logic, but it begins to get pretty lower level there that I can't just like instantly make sense of. So, that being said, I gotta get to documenting some of this stuff. I would love to make a diagram on like this entire flow, because this is not easy to understand. So yeah, now that I'm getting closer to being done with understanding the opening cinematic, so far the things that are interesting me are the camera, which Sauron told me was an incredibly complex thing, and Link's state machine, like how he transitions between states and stuff, which Sauron also said is a very complex beast. And then some of the actors. I know somebody had commented asking to see like how the Stalfos, those skeleton knights, like what is their AI like? And I think that'd be fun. So if you've got anything that you're curious about, you know, post a comment, and I'll try to dive into them. I think that there's, God, like I'm in trying to answer one question. I've am now like understanding the broader scope of this code base. And I'm kind of ready to move on to just actor stuff. Like I want to see the things that just have an update method and a draw method. and these scenes sort of have that, like these play states and these other states, they sort of have that. But there's a lot of like plumbing in the background to get a lot of those things to work. I would like to make like smaller scoped episodes on top of like these broader scope things for, you know, this file over here links to this, and here's how you load assets, and then that's how you get the cutscene and all these things. I'm still having a lot of fun with this. I hope you are too. I hope my excitement wasn't I hope I wasn't going too fast for folks, because I know not everybody's a programmer, but I hope that this is enough to follow along with. Please, if you've got feedback, let me know. But yeah, this was a ton of fun. Yeah, I'll catch y'all in the next one. I need to take a break.